Okay, so I'm not even going to start off with hello guys and welcome. It is ThatSrb2DUDE here today, even though I just did there, but we're not going to talk about that. Today I want to talk to you guys about the Tenta Brella and just how disappointed I am just on the overall performance of this weapon. Now straight up, I'm going to say this weapon just needs to be buffed. Like, first of all, there is just so much lag that comes in with this weapon. There's startup lag when you're about to shoot, and there's end lag once you've already shot. Recording this doesn't really do it justice because you can't exactly see the startup lag, but trust me, when you press the R button or the shoot button, you have to wait a bit before the shot actually comes out. It's not great at all. One weapon I can compare to this weapon is basically the H3 nozzle nose. With the H3, it's a burst fire weapon, and every single time you press the trigger, it shoots a certain amount. Except it does not have any startup lag, it only just has the end lag. Which means when it comes to the situation of actually trying to react to things, if somebody like comes out of the corner and just spooks you, with the H3 nozzle nose you can actually react to it, because as soon as you press the shoot button, you have bullets flying at them already. However, with the Tenta Brella, you have to wait an entire second, so you basically waste time in actually trying to take the person out in the first place. Where is this weapon actually? I can't even find it. Oh, here it is. It's at the very end. So, just imagine this. Someone comes out like you're just kind of just casually being around here, shooting around, and then somebody just comes out the corner, and they spot you before you see them. Now, a good person would be able to react to this and may even get the kill, but if you're gonna use this weapon, then you have to wait a second while this person's shooting at you and suppressing you for you to actually fire at them. Now let's just remember one of the core factors of Splatoon, which is painting and map control. Now, unfortunately, considering this is one of the most slowest firing weapons in the entire game, this weapon completely does not paint or do any of that effectively. Because you have to wait for a shot to come out, and then you have to wait for the end lag to pass, and then you get another shot, and you have to do another shot, and then you do another shot, and then you do another shot. It does this very, very slowly. And I know for sure some of you guys are going to say, but dude, look how well you just painted on the floor. Look how thick the ink looks like on the floor. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, let me just show you an example with another slow fire weapon like the 96, and just see how much faster this weapon paints compared to the Tenta Brella. Now, as you saw from those comparisons, the 96 gal just did the exact same thing in just a much shorter amount of time. Now, as you saw from there, painting is a real problem with this weapon. Like, it's really, really bad of how slow this thing actually shoots. Now, it's one thing that you can paint like this with the Tenta Brella, but the thing is this really effective? If it comes to a point where you have somebody that comes to challenge you, is this the most effective way of painting? Because this is how I see it. If somebody ever comes near to you, you are going to be screwed if you're trying to paint like this. Like, let's say a long-range weapon was about to challenge you right now. Like, let's say we see each other at the exact same time. The thing is that if a Splash Up Pro comes near to you, or Jet Squelch, or a 96 Cal, and they have their accuracy on you, and you have their accuracy on them, basically, you're going to hit them with one, but they're going to continue to shoot you. This is the thing that you need to remember. They're going to continue to shoot you. Now, effectively, what I think you would want to do is, of course, block the shot. But, of course, the Tenta Brella has end lag when it has to try and get its umbrella out. It takes a little bit for your tent to actually come out, or your umbrella, whatever it's called. It takes a long time. So there's a lot of time wasted of actually trying to get your umbrella out, and you're basically a sitting duck because you're going to be suppressed and gunned down by the Splash Up Pro, Jet Squelcher, or 96 because you didn't have enough time to even get your umbrella out while you're in, I guess, the heat of the situation. Now let's talk about damage output with this weapon and basically how disappointing it can be. Now, this is a good thing about it. This is one thing I can give it credit for. But except it's really, really inconsistent. Point blank, you can get a one-shot kill with this, which is great. But you gotta realize that this is a long-range weapon. So in situations where you are in a close-range situation, very, very unlikely where you're going to have to try and one-shot people. Like, most of the time with a long-range weapon, you want to be at least 2 lines or 3 lines away from the person. You want to be shooting them from here, or I guess let's say, like, let's just say this is an enemy. You want to be shooting them from here. Now, just note that it doesn't one-shot. So when you're trying to actually abuse the range with this weapon, it's going to be a 2-shot. Whatever you try, it's always going to be a 2-shot unless that opponent has already taken damage. But it depends on the situation, if they have taken damage or not. Now let's just do a little comparison with the Tenta Brella versus the 96 gal. Now, I can pretty much guarantee you, if I fire a 1-shot with the Tenta Brella, I can pretty much guarantee the 96 gal will fire probably 2 shots straight away. So this is a 2-shot with the Tenta Brella. It's pretty slow. Now let me just get the 96 gal just to compare how much faster it is. It doesn't even take a second. Unless there's like RNG with it, which is probably, you'll probably miss 1 shot at this type of range, but this is a 2-shot weapon at this range. Now let me go back to the Tenta Brella, and just to show you how much slower the time is. It's much slower, much slower. Like, as I have said before, weapons that have long range like this excel with their range. If you abuse the range, you usually do well with it. Like, you don't go with a Splattershot Pro like this close up to people, unless, I mean, it depends on the situation, but you don't go this close up to people trying to one-shot them. Now let's get a little bit more on painting with this weapon. Now one thing you should really know is that using special weapons in Splatoon 2 is really beneficial and important. Now this weapon builds up special very slowly, and the special it has is Bubble Blower, which is, you know, it's not that bad. It's great. I like the Bubble Blower. Depends on how close you are, you can get your bubbles out like that. I mean, that's probably the most effective way you can paint with this weapon. But trying to, you know, build up your special, it does take a little bit of time if you're not wearing some special charge. Let's talk about one of the more effective things with the Tenta Brella, which, well, isn't really that effective, but it's probably the most effective thing that it can really do. And it's basically its tent mechanic, basically by shooting its tent a certain distance and you following it. Now, you can do stuff like this. You can shoot through your Tenta Brella, which is nice, but in general, how effective really is this? Now, maybe this will work in like really narrow levels like Port Macro and such like that, like doing this thing through the lanes and such. Like, it's one thing that you're protecting one side as you're pushing forward, but is it really that effective in just open areas? Like, there are a lot of levels with open areas, and I'm not too sure what to think about this, because you can do this. It goes really slow. I honestly, I wish it went faster. But you gotta remember that people can still shoot this. Like, it goes super slowly. Plus, a smart player would just go around it and then shoot you from the other side, which basically means your other half is completely vulnerable. Like, if somebody comes around your umbrella shot, then you want to make sure that you get the 1-shot on them. But the thing is, you gotta also realize, if they have more range than you, like if they are from this range, like a 10 attack can still kill you from this range in a couple shots. But if you're fighting somebody in like this, in a 2-shot scenario, and you're firing this slow, it's just, I just don't know about it. I just don't know. I don't think it's gonna be that effective. I don't think you'll be fast enough to actually react to it, especially against a competent player. Now, I've said a lot about this weapon, and I really feel like this weapon really needs a buff. Now, I can understand that this weapon is purely a support weapon, of course, but it's gotta have a little bit of something to actually be able to, I guess, defend itself, because you're not gonna be defending yourself like this. Nah, this is way too slow. Now, the things I would do to personally make this weapon just a lot stronger in general is basically get rid of a little bit of the lag. Like, the startup lag of actually trying to shoot first, that needs to go a little bit, well, it needs to come out faster. Your shots need to come out faster. And there needs to be a little bit of reduced end lag as well. Because as you shot, you're basically stuck in a couple frames and you can't really do too much. Like, if you shoot once and you just hold sideways, you would notice I continue to walk sideways because that's the added end lag. Like, you feel really sluggish because of this. Like, you feel like you can't even move. Another thing is that its fire rate needs to be a little bit faster too. This is way too slow for a 2/3 shot weapon if you're trying to use its range effectively. Another thing I will do is shorten the amount of frames it takes for your umbrella to actually come out. Because I feel like the core thing about this weapon is using this. And if it's a thing where this is taking too long to actually come out, it makes it so much harder for you to actually use this effectively. And of course, I've got to mention, you know, that one person who's probably a very fanatic Tenta Brella main, and I probably insulted his weapon maybe one too many, or just way too much in general. And I'm just saying, your weapon needs a buff. If this is a weapon you decided to play, and this is a weapon that you think that's the most amazing weapon in the game, no, it's not. I know for sure that person in the comment section is going to be like, but I went 10-0 with this weapon. It's good. No, it's not. It's not doing things effectively. It's not being able to paint effectively. It's not being able to paint because this game's called Splatoon, and you want to be able to paint. But anyways, getting a little bit sidetracked there, I want to kind of know you guys' thoughts about this weapon. What do you guys think of it? Because I personally feel like it needs to be buffed. Like, straight up. What do you guys feel like needs to be stronger about this weapon for it to actually perform well? And it probably is going to be all of those things I just said in this video, but, you know, if there's anything I missed, you know, tell me about it. Let me know, because this weapon seriously needs to be buffed. Straight up. Nintendo, if you're watching this, buff this weapon. This needs to be powerful. This can't be doing this at long range. It's what does it do effectively? Okay. But anyways, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please, if you did, please like, favorite, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch, both in the description below. Do it for both if you're feeling generous. And as always, guys, this has been ThatSrb2DUDE, and I shall see you guys in a future video.